To start this, we're gonna truss it or tie it to really kind of compact the meat together to maintain the shape. And then we're gonna salt it with, in this case, kosher salt, and then let that sit in the refrigerator and dry overnight before we cook it. The salt will penetrate into the meat, much like we do when we're brining something. Pre-seasoning helps to enhance those flavors. Also pull some of the moisture out, which helps to hydrate the meat in this case and intensify the flavor. So anytime you have an opportunity to do that, I suggest doing that. We have two kinds of salt here. If you notice, we have our kosher salt, which is kind of our workhorse. We're gonna use that for seasoning. And then we have a gray salt here from France, which we're gonna use as a garnish, as a condiment. And the reason I use that for a number of different reasons, of course, it adds that salt to it, but also gives me a wonderful crunch in that texture. So trussing a Cote de Boeuf is very easy. I'm gonna wrap it around the bone here, and then just follow around, shape it up really nice. I'm gonna do a slip knot here. So right there, looks good in the middle, okay. From my old Boy Scout days. Slip knots there. I'm gonna go ahead and cinch it. I don't want them too tight because it'll deform it. Just want to maintain the natural shape. And then of course we'll finish that knot so it doesn't slip back the other way. Then we're going to go ahead and salt it. I'm going to use a drain pan here. So this is going to go in the refrigerator, and it helps get air underneath and on top of it at the same time. So again, when we salt, we always know we want to hold our hands way above it so that we get an even dispersion of salt. And I put a liberal amount on there, you see that. Turn it over. And the same thing on this side. Now this is a quarter sheet tray, which means it's a quarter size of a full sheet tray with a rack on it. So they're really convenient to have for a number of different things. Obviously for baking, and they work really well. But for this kind of application as well, where you can put it in the refrigerator and the air circulation will go on both. So again, the salt will pull moisture out of the beef. You may find a little bit of moisture underneath tomorrow, or you may not, it just depends. But you certainly, as the moisture is pulled out with the salt, the air in your refrigerator should evaporate it. If it doesn't, then the next day, just take a paper towel and you can just pat off any excess moisture. And remember, we always want to temper our meat before we start cooking it. And certainly the bigger the piece of protein, whether it's fish or meat, we want to take it out and do that earlier. And it may take up to an hour or longer.